Welcome to the Mongol Khanate. I'm Glengus and I'll be explaining how we do things here. Our guild, named the Mongol Khanate, is based on the Mongolian Empire, the largest contiguous empire in the history of mankind, conquered by Temujin, who pretty much started off as a slave and eventually became known as Genghis Khan. With a small Mongolian desert tribe, he created a Khanate 4 times bigger than Alexander the Great's conquest and twice as big as the Roman Empire. We may never reach that level in Albion, but gosh darn it, we're gonna try. You are an important asset for us towards this goal. We expect you to be the architect of your own progression in Albion, using our guild and alliance but not depending on us to advance. So your presence is always valued by us, as it is best if we can participate in Albion's content together. This way, we pay you in silver, fame and camaraderie, and you pay us in tax, game content and personality. This bootcamp is to get you up and running right away, so here we go. General game settings. Uncheck Forced Combat Mode so you can loot anytime. Check Double Click to attack so you can inspect things without attacking them. And play around with the quick cast options for the style that suits you best. ZVZ game settings. When preparing for a ZVZ, put your graphics on low. Turn off names, only leaving health bars unless you really need the names. General Albion knowledge. Get on Discord whenever you can, if only to listen in. Always keep an eye on the guild and, if possible, alliance chat. Only farms, herb gardens, pastures, kennels, butcher, mill and houses are worthwhile on personal islands. Travel planners in small towns teleport only to other towns. Travel planners in cities teleport only to other cities. Teleporting naked with empty inventory is free. Teleporting while carrying anything will cost a fee, but is still impossible to Carlion. General player versus environment or PvE knowledge. Right click or hold to move, left click or hold to attack. Press S to stop moving, attacking or casting, press numlock to auto walk, press spacebar to auto attack, avoid getting tagged by mobs while riding mounts, skeleton swordsman can be triggered to hopefully tag any pursuers, use warcamps or friendly territory chests to stash acquired items, and shift click to transfer items between inventories quickly. General player versus player or PvP knowledge. Press P to ping your location, double click on an area in the minimap to ping that location. Any skill or attack on another player gives you combat status and you cannot leave through an exit when in combat for about 10 to 20 seconds. Keep this in mind. Use friendly territories to flee from gankers when needed. Gathering. Food used is pie. Standard weapon is Bloodleather and Mistcaller for mobility and cooldowns. Wear proper gathering gear for the resource you're gathering. Only gather resources that are equal or below to your tool's tier. In blue-yellow zones, use an ox as a mount. In red-black zones, use armored horses, stags or swamp dragons as a mount. In blue-yellow zones, dismount where you can maximize the amount of nodes to gather in one go. In red-black zones, dismount for each node you want to gather. Trust no outsiders approaching you. Have an escape plan, for example, cleanse to get out of a stun, move in the opposite direction of intended escape route, ambush to change direction, at ambush limit, use the 2 bloodleather mobilities, and then wanderlust to create enough distance to mount up and flee. When tending farms, use focus after you've harvested all farm, herb, and animal plots. Transport. Food used is pie or a sandwich. Your armor is also your mount's armor, so wear plate and a Fort Sterling or Martlock faction kit. Control plus click an item to show it in chat to others. Plot the route ahead of time. If there are enough willing members around, have an escort. If possible, have a first scout escort just out of view ahead of you. If possible, have a second or more advanced scouts keeping an eye on 2 zones by standing at the exits, always moving 1 zone ahead of you. Near the destination, advanced scouts will wait on the transport and help escort the final zone. Crafting. Food used is salad. Fame farm rules of engagement. Keep in mind that rallying a party may take up to 15 to 30 minutes. A party must have a tank, healer and 3 DPS. Keep the party size between 5 and 8, split if it becomes too big. Main tank should have a protective instinct. All other plate armor users should use Spirit Crush. Bring enough consumables for the amount of time you plan to fame farm. Carry only enough consumables for a single dungeon run. Drop the rest in a nearby Warcamp territory chest before and in between runs. Use armored horses for travel to or from destination. Consider you bringing a tier 4 horse in the inventory to switch out at the Warcamp chest for use in the zone. Stick to your party like glue when moving. Wait near, not at zone exits so stragglers can catch up to the party. Skip the first few mobs in a dungeon to hide your presence. Do not attack heal when the tank is collecting mobs. Party formation is tanks up front, DPS in the middle, healers in the back. Tanks engage mobs 90 to 180 degrees from the rest of the party. Everyone should focus the same target, so switch if you notice the HP of another mob going down faster. Target priorities are in the following order: healers, because they prolong the fight, supporters because they buff and debuff, mage DPS because of area of effect damage, ranged DPS because of high single target damage at the distance, melee DPS because of damage, and finally tanks because of their high hit points. When in doubt, always kill low HP before a high HP and ranged before melee. Always kill surrounding minions before continuing attacking a boss-like character. Get out of telegraphed attack areas. Don't get hit so you're not a concern for a healer. Keep your movements and dodging tight and close to the target or party so you don't pull in unwanted mobs. Occasionally leave loot behind as an early warning systems about enemy dungeon divers. At enemy player contact, reds, stop attacking the mobs. Tanks should have aggro and sprint to engage the enemies, thereby leashing any mobs. DPS immediately engage enemy party from their position. Do not run back into the mobs, run towards the enemy, past their tanks into the healer DPS for the fight. Only the healer is allowed to reposition away from the enemy players. Enemy divers may have surprise, better gear and more members, but low combat adrenaline from running through an empty dungeon. Your party has 15 plus minutes of high combat adrenaline and synchronization, so therefore be unexpectedly aggressive. Warcamp rules of engagement. Warcamps, WCs, are small fortifications in some zones that become active at certain times every day to allow attacking guilds to register a GVG assault on a territory, while defending guilds try to register or prevent attacks. Guild/alliance armies, or zergs, try to occupy zones so their representative can register in peace. This may require fighting enemy zergs. Warcamps always involve a lot of waiting, 30 plus minutes for regular and up to 2 hours on reset day warcamps, followed by boring inaction or intense combat that can last either minutes or hours. Owning territories enables us to feign farm and gather in relative safety. Attending warcamps is therefore mandatory as it affects us all. Warcamps start with a call to arms at least 30 minutes beforehand on Discord and a guild alliance chat. You are expected to finish your current activity and head home to gear up. Warcamp times are always the same, and as long as it's not over, you must make your way to the Zerg to assist even if you log on late. Be in approved ZVZ gear. We will allow a lower tier level and a tier 4 mount only once to get acquainted to Warcamp ZVZ basics and catch your bearings. Guild tax will be put at 100% during the Warcamp to encourage joining the Warcamps. Food used are sandwich, omelets or stews depending on your role. Bring around 2 for regular and 4 on reset days. Consumables are resistance or gigantify potions. Bring around 5 for regular and 10 for reset days. Start with 1 food in the slot, leave the rest in your inventory. Leave empty after use and only refill and consume when needed. While gearing up, be sure to drop your current party so you can X up for the Warcamp party, then get to the rally point and enter the Alliance Discord channel. Keep an eye on party, guild and alliance chat. Due to spies, you are on a need-to-know basis. You'll be informed of what to do as we're doing it, so just follow the herd or the shot caller. If our guild Warcamp party is full, an officer, keeping tank healer balance in mind, drops party to either direct the remaining members into an Alliance Warcamp party or form a second party. After rolling out, everyone but the shot callers and scouts are to observe radio silence. Stick with the Zerg and ignore any distractions such as reds you might encounter en route. At destination, the Zerg shot caller on your party leader will be marked with a crown. 2 healers get the green diamond and heart mark, while the rest are for tanks so these 2 roles can find each other. In a zone of interest, you are to follow the blue dot around and pay attention to the minimap pings. Party members, yellow dots, need to be together to maximize our effect as a strike group inside a Zerg. Do not enter the Warcamp. When setting up, clear the area of all mobs, keep it clear and stash your mount away. Do not clump up. Keep it short distance from all players around you to avoid being a CC or AoE target, combat spread. Face the proper direction in standard formation, tanks up front, healers in the rear and DPS in between. Points of interest are zone exits, bridges, ridges on high ground and natural bottlenecks. Follow shot caller commands instantly. You hear west, go west. You hear fallback, you immediately go the opposite way. Move like an ocean wave. When you see the enemy tags in range, use your Qs and Ws, but save your Es for the shot callers. For many roles, most of the time, at the call, drop your Es and move back to safety. Concentration on a single point is ideal, but learn to read if a situation can use a broader front. Enemy tanks should only interest you if you are non-tank that can CC, else ignore them and focus on targets beyond them. Do not loot while the fight is still raging. Actively resist the herd mentality by keeping your combat spread in mind when on the move on foot. When crossing choke points, tanks cross first, ranged healers support from friendly side, DPS charge in, ranged healers follow when everything is cleared. Crossing choke points has to happen fast, and they need to be a good distance behind you after crossing. If you die, get regeared and head back to the fight. If several party members died, regear and gather at a rally point to return to the fight together. Use the party chat to convey your status. If the party leader dies, remain dead in the field long enough to transfer party lead to the highest ranking survivor and then switch leader at return. When returning to base, do not let down your guard until back in town. Well, that's it for our bootcamp. We hope you have a lot of fun with us, and I'll see you when I'll be online. For more information on our guild, check the information board on Discord.